introduction of the Hon'ble Vice-President of India. Okay. Hello. 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 The National Hello. 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 Hello.
Extra open on ഇവിടെ രണ്ടെണ്ണം കേട്ടോ. ഇവിടെ 2-3 ഗ്ലാസ് ഉണ്ട്. 1 ഗ്ലാസ് ഉണ്ട്.
the kind attention of everybody present here. Please ensure that your mobile phones are switched off. I repeat, everybody in the hall, please ensure that your mobile phones are switched off. Thank you.
यहाँ से करेंगे।
request everyone to kindly remain standing for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Please be seated. Good morning, respected dignitaries, esteemed guests, faculty members, and dear students. It is with immense pride and joy that we welcome you to the University of Advanced Legal Studies on this momentous occasion. We now invite Shri P. Rajiv, Honorable Minister of Law, Choir and Industries, for the Felicitation of Jagdeep Dhankhar, Hon'ble Vice-President of India. Thank you, sir. Now we would like to invite Dr. R. Bindu, Honorable Minister for Higher Education, Justice and Pro-Chancellor, Nuals, to deliver the felicitation for Dr. Srimati Sudesh Dhankhar, the Second Lady of India. Thank you, ma'am. I'd like to invite Professor Dr. G.B. Reddy, Vice Chancellor of Nuals, to felicitate Shri Rajendra Vishwanath Arlekar, Honorable Governor of Kerala. Thank you, sir. I would also like to invite you to deliver the welcome address.
His Excellency, Hon'ble Vice-President of India, Shri Jagdeep Dhankhar, Most Revered Dr. Srimati Sudesh Dhankhar, the Second Lady of India, His Excellency, the Honorable Governor of the State of Kerala, Shri Rajendra Vishwanath Arlekar, Dr. Srimati R. Bindu, Honorable Minister for Higher Education and Social Justice, Government of Kerala and Pro-Chancellor of Nuals, Shri P. Rajiv, Honorable Minister of Law, Industries and Choir, Government of Kerala, distinguished guests, esteemed faculty and staff members, dear students, press and media, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm and heartfelt welcome to all of you to the portals of the National University of Advanced Legal Studies Nuals, Kochi.
Pride and immense honor that I extend a warm welcome to our distinguished guests today. We are deeply privileged to have with us some of the most esteemed leaders of our nation and state. The presence of Hon'ble Vice-President of India, Shri Jagdeep Dhankhar, Dr. Srimati Sudesh Dhankhar, Honorable Governor of Kerala, Shri Rajendra Arlikar ji, Honorable Ministers, Dr. R. Bindu and Shri P. Rajiv. He is not only a source of immense pride for Nuals, Kochi, but also an occasion that reflects the collective commitment of leadership to the development of higher education and legal studies in India. This gathering today highlights a convergence of vision between the legislative, executive, and academic spheres in strengthening the pillars of justice, education, and governance in our country. We are particularly grateful for the Honorable Vice President's continued support and leadership in advocating for the importance of legal education in the creation of a more equitable and just society. The Honorable Governor has always been an inspiration to us through his tireless commitment to preserving democratic values, promoting education, and maintaining the social fabric of our nation. I would also like to extend a special welcome to Dr. Srimati R. Bindu, Shri P. Rajiv, the distinguished leaders whose work in the fields of education, law and industry continues to shape the future of Kerala. The vision you bring to your respective roles aligns with the mission of this institution in fostering a legal culture that is innovative, just and socially relevant. Nuals, one of the premier national law schools in India, has carved out a niche for itself during the last about 2.5 decades of its functioning. At Nuals, we have always believed in the transformative power of legal education. Our students, faculty, and staff are deeply inspired by your presence, and your visit today strengthens our resolve to contribute meaningfully to the broader objectives of producing socially relevant and professionally competent stakeholders in the field of law, justice, and public service. We are happy that the Government of India and the Government of Kerala have continuously supported the growth and development of legal education, and this visit serves as a reflection of that ongoing commitment. To our students, today is an important moment for all of you. You are standing on the threshold of a new era in legal education, shaped by the very leaders who are with us today. It is our opportunity to draw inspiration from their wisdom, guidance, and leadership as you continue to develop into the next generation of legal professionals who will help steer our nation towards a brighter future. The visit of the Honorable Vice President to Nuals, coinciding with the 75 years of the eventful journey of our great Constitution, will be a memorable event throughout our lives. Your Excellency, the Honorable Vice President's visit to Nuals will foster a sense of civic engagement, inspire our students, and promote awareness of constitutional values. Your presence shall remain a source of great encouragement and motivation for all of us at Nuals as we continue our journey towards excellence in legal education and research. Thank you, and a very warm welcome once again to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Now we would like to invite Dr. R. Bindu, Honorable Minister for Higher Education and Social Justice and Pro-Chancellor of Nuals, to address this gathering.
Honorable Vice President of India, respected Shri Jagdeep Dhankhar ji, respected Dr. Srimati Sudesh Dhankhar ji, Honorable Governor of Kerala, respected Shri Rajendra Vishwanath Arlekarji, Honorable Minister for Industry and Law Shri P. Rajiv, respected Vice Chancellor Professor G.B. Reddy, faculty of the university and dear students. At the very outset, on behalf of the Higher Education Department of Kerala, let me extend warm greetings to the Honorable Vice-President Shri Jagdeep Dhankhar ji. The Higher Education Department, along with the academic community of National University of Advanced Legal Studies, feel honored by your esteemed presence, and we express our gratitude to you for finding time to interact with the students of the university. At a time when Kerala's higher education is moving forward through paradigm shifts and systemic reforms, your visit and words of wisdom would be fruitful and significant for us in our attempt to trace the future paths. By updating or modernizing the ways of knowledge transaction and acquisition, we have created positive and creative transformations to equip our young students to meet the challenges raised by the globalized situation, the quantum leap of science and technology, the digital revolution, and the corresponding knowledge explosion. As we share the platform at Nuals, a premier higher education institution in Kerala, I endorse that the law education in Kerala gets redefined by the hour, where our future jurisprudence is getting shaped through the sharpening of our young minds, ignited by an aptitude for the noble legal profession. Apart from getting molded as meticulous professionals, aspiring generations of law students get trained to be champions of justice and human rights here. This institution has to its credit an impressive collection of books in its library, and the faculty and students join hands together in publishing world-class research journals. M.K. Damodaran International Center of Excellence, established at Nuals, helps in accelerating the process of internationalization of legal education, provides momentum to the research-oriented activities. I believe it is also important for the students of Nuals to be champions of the Indian Constitution, which the people of India gave to themselves in the true spirit of democracy, federalism, and social justice. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar famously held that the democracy it upholds is not founded on majority voices alone, but established in its ability to protect the aspirations of the minorities and the downtrodden as well. The strength of the Indian Constitution lies in its ability to stand up for the weakest, in its predilection for the powerless and the deprived. The Constitution is also a document which knows that its spirit of democracy, federalism, and social justice is being protected when everybody plays by the rules of their stipulated roles. Liberty and fraternity are values that are fostered only when they are upheld in spirit and are enacted within the confines of the rule of law, in a level playing ground where the last person in the line gets their equal rights. Moreover, we have to ensure that in a land of rich variety, diversity, and plurality, fertile and fraternal dialogues between different cultures take place smoothly, emphasizing the need for a peaceful coexistence of different cultures. I hope your deliberations will always ensure these great values, the principles our great forefathers preserved for us and defended with their lives. I hope every single moment of our lives should rededicate us to the safeguarding of these values. Values embedded in our Constitution like secularism, social justice, democracy, and freedom. The youngsters who aspire to become lawyers of the future must prepare themselves to be the voice of the voiceless, and by assimilating legal acumen, they should lead to bring in a brave new world where justice for all prevails. At this note of hope, let me conclude, as we all are eagerly waiting for the August deliberations, that we anticipate. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your insightful words. We are now honoured to invite Shri Rajendra Vishwanath Arlekar, Honourable Governor of Kerala, to address the gathering.
Namaskaram. The most respected Vice-President of India, Hon'ble Shri Jagdeep Dhankhar ji, respected Lady Srimati Dhankhar ji, Minister of Law, my friend Shri Rajiv ji, Pro-Chancellor and Minister for Higher Education, Srimati Bindu ji, Vice-Chancellor of Nuals, Shri G.B. Reddy ji, all the dignitaries sitting in the audience, and my dear young friends. It is a great occasion for all of us that Honorable Jagdeep Dhankhar ji is amongst us to have an interaction and to place before us what we need to do in our future, how we are going to tread in this path, where we want to go, and what exactly we want to achieve. That is exactly what we are trying to do today. This particular institution has got great laurels in the cap, and all have been watching this throughout these last many years, the journey of this institution. It is considered to be a prime institution in our country now because of the efforts and because of all the education that has been imparted, the system of the education that has been given by all the predecessors who have brought this institution to this level. Now it is before us how we proceed further. Today is the occasion when we will be just looking at the world, how they will be looking at us. And that is exactly what you are going to think of it today itself. Most of you, the students, are at the crossroads. I will not use exactly the way crossroads because you might have decided what to be and what not to be. Next, what you have to do and think is how my knowledge will be imparted, given to the local people, to the public. The knowledge that I have gained is not to be restricted to myself. It has to be given to the public. Today, the law itself is in a different terminology. Common man can't understand what it is. Many times it happens so. The judgments given by by honorable justices can't even be understood by the common people. We are in a different atmosphere today. Everybody has got right to understand what is being done there in the courtrooms, in the parliament, in the legislatures, and they have to take from which is right and which is wrong. So also in the courtrooms, we have to see whether the judgment delivered by the justices can be understood by me without the interpretation of the lawyer in between. I think that is the need of our today. We always think that today democracy is at the highest hem of our affairs, of our governance today. And if that is true, then everything has to be done for the people who are the pillars of our democracy. We must give them what they want. They want to know what has been done in the court. As we try to say, or we try to deliver in the parliament as well as in the legislative assemblies, we do there, and which people can understand because all the affairs are being done in their local languages. Can we have the affairs, the matters or the discussions and the proceedings in our courts in the manner, the way the common man understands it? We have to do it, think, rethink all over this. If that is not done, then I think we have some lacuna in our system itself. As we have been doing, almost all the governors in the country, they are trying to convert the Raj Bhavans into Lok Bhavans. Why? That the institution of governors, which was constituted by the Britishers, is no more secluded now. It has become a people's governance. It has become people's Raj Bhavan. So it has to be Lok Bhavan. So also our judiciary has to be people's judiciary. People, common people should understand what it is being done there. So that is what the message we have to take from here. I hope you understand what I have to convey to you. You all have to be people's lawyer, people's representatives in the courts, and should not, the justice which the court gives us should be understandable by the common people like me also, who doesn't have anything to do with judiciary or the legal terminology. That is what I have to convey to you. I wish you all the best in your future and continue getting more and more laurels. Thank you. Nandi.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening speech. May I now invite His Excellency Shri Jagdeep Dhankhar, the Hon'ble Vice-President of India, to address this august gathering. We are privileged by your presence.
Good morning, all of you. Yes. Honorable Governor of Kerala. But to the students of law, let me still your mind. President and the governor are the only two constitutional officers who have oath different than the Vice President, the Prime Minister, the Chief Minister, members of Parliament, members of Assembly, or other functionaries like judges. Because all of us, the Vice President, the Prime Minister and others, we take oath to abide by the Constitution. But the Honorable President and the Honorable Governor, they take oath to preserve, protect and defend the Constitution. Am I clear? So their oath is not only very distinct, their oath is obligating them with the onerous task of preserving, protecting and defending the Constitution. I hope there is realization all around about this constitutional ordainment for the post of the governor. I have been privileged to have this post for 3 years alongside you in the state of West Bengal. Second, what stands out the President or the Governor, apart from the rest of us, like the Vice President, Prime Minister and Chief Ministers and Ministers, is only these two designations of immunity from prosecution. No one else has. While they hold office, they are immune to any prosecution, pending or contempt. And I am so happy and delighted that Sri Rajendra V. Arlekar is setting very high standards of government. Because a governor is easy punching bag. I am sure that you as brilliant students of law will appreciate it. Dr. R. Bindu, Minister of Higher Education and Pro-Chancellor Nuals, her address was permeating with erudition. She chose her words very carefully. It was feast to intellect. It was very refreshing to listen to a minister these days to talk what is of your interest. I am beholden to her presence and contribution. Remarkable man. Shri P. Rajiv, Minister of Law, Oil and Industries. I have two things in common with him. One, he has been a former member of Rajya Sabha, the House of Elders, the Upper House, the Council of States. And whatever discussion I have had with him, he is really part of education, apart from being that of law. His presence means a lot. But the second thing which I have in common is related to my wife, Dr. Felicitation. His wife, Dr. Mani, Dean of Faculty of Law, Kochi University of Sciences and Technology. The Honorable Minister has formidable challenge in the home and I hear. So I am sure whenever he will be in Delhi next time, we will work in togetherness to deal with the common challenge. Professor Dr. G.B. Reddy, very thoughtful address. But I have love for him for a different reason. Like the Vice President, he also carries the tag vice. Very distinguished members of the faculty. I must recognize presence also of Principal Secretary Higher Education because government is an important part of it. Dr. Sharmila Mary Joseph. Her husband is an IPS officer. Her brother is an IPS officer in Rajasthan. A brilliant man, a brilliant, presently Commissioner Jaipur. Well, Dr. R. Bindu, as also the Vice Chancellor said, it is a great occasion for students to listen to the Vice President. I have a small caveat. The honor and privilege is totally mine. I have had the great opportunity today to interact with brilliant young minds, the academic community of Nuals. I am engaging with whom? Who are future sentinels of justice, torchbearers of constitutional values, and architects of more equitable Bharat. You will be defining what Bharat will be when we celebrate centenary of our independence as a developed nation at 2047. But let me tell you, coming to Kerala is always a matter of pleasure to me. Very satisfaction. A land that has gifted India with many luminous minds and upright public servants. You have a very amiable Chief Minister. At the moment he is out of country. But every time I interact with him, I learn a lot. Another reason where I remember Kerala very frequently is that 9 members from Kerala to Rajya Sabha Council of States, each of them is taking the job very seriously and causing no disruption or disturbance. Let me remind you what we learned from our Constituent Assembly. Constituent Assembly crafted constitution for us. And it was for little less than 3 years. They engaged in debate, dialogue, discussion, deliberation, but never in disturbance or disruption, something which you must learn. If I talk of John Bitas, he is now heading, is the floor leader of his party, along with V. Shivdasan and A. Rahim. Jose K. Mani, absolutely amazing person, and a personality which I envy, has great contribution facility. Harish Biran, IUMN, a lovable human being. He received me yesterday. A good friend of mine makes contributions very softly. His colleague Abdul Wahab in CPI P. Santosh Kumar, along with PP Sunil, all of them are committed. J.B. Mathir, very brilliant, a member from the Congress party. And I gather husband is a cardiologist, because I talked to the entire family. I have taken these names particularly because I will be giving you some tasks and these people will be involved. Let me unravel the task before I come to other aspects. I will be calling upon you to engage into 2 activities. One, to write an essay on why we celebrate Constitution Day on 26th November. Why? When was it started? What does it connote for us? You write an essay. I'll share the email ID with the Vice Chancellor, where you will send it within the next 15 days. You will write another essay on Constitution Hatya Divas that reminds you of the draconian period of emergency proclamation on 25th June 1975. Now these are fundamental because these are related to constitutionalism. So you have to think aloud what happened in 42nd Constitution Amendment Act. What happened in 44 and what was left over? Why elects were chaired without access to judiciary? How come 9 high courts decided in favor of the citizen, but the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, failed us? In ADM Zanotpur case, and reversed, indicating 2 things. One, it is absolute prerogative of the executive to impose emergency, and to impose emergency for as much time it takes. In 75, it was 20 plus months. And during the proclamation of emergency period, there will be no access to judiciary. So we forfeited at that point of time our total claim to be a democratic nation. That's where we stand. Are you ready for the essays? No voice. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes. 5 each of those essays. The writers will be my guests at the Indian Parliament. But let me tell you, I will not be selecting which essay is good because all essays are bound to be good. I will draw the lots. In the presence of 9 distinguished members of Rajya Sabha from your state. They will facilitate the visit also. The rest is my lookout. Second, why I named them and the Honorable Chief Minister. I will be inviting you in batches of 15 to 25 to look at the new building of Indian Parliament. How during challenging times of COVID we transacted so much on the ground to reflect 5,000 years of our civilizational ethos and attend this in less than 30 months. But you'll be my guest. I'll have lunch with you. Am I right? The Vice Chancellor will decide the constitution of the groups. But I'm sure he'll keep some boys also because I see more girls here. This state has a distinction of giving to the country the first woman judge in the Supreme Court, Justice M. Fatima Bibi. But she has two distinctions. One, she was a High Court judge. She has retired. She was called to duty from retirement. And she became a judge of the Supreme Court for a very short period of 2.5 years. Another judge who becomes in the same category is Justice Bahrul Islam from Assam. From Kerala to Assam. He too was appointed a judge of the Supreme Court while having the tag of High Court judge, retired. So both of them had period less than 2.5 years or around that. You need to examine it. These are credentials that must steer your mind. Kerala has several other situations when we talk in historical perspective. When you talk of ancient trade, Romans, Arabs, Chinese, to the complex legal developments of Portuguese, Dutch and British regimes, Kochi has witnessed evolution of law, which we can envy. But when we look at our ancient history, Dharma Shastra, Smriti, Dharma Sutra, they define our jurisprudence. Boys and girls, you always have to remember, Bharat was not born on 15th August 1947. We are a unique nation. 5,000 years of civilizational ethos, history, background, treasure of knowledge, Vedas, Upanishads, Purans. We had institutions like Nalanda, Takshila, and many more. And right now, I can tell you two things. Last few years, I've seen a development in this country at a scale which was not earlier there. And India today is the most aspirational nation in the world because of its youth. I am more enamored of you and interacting with you because our youth and demographic dividend is envy of the world. We are 28 million age of our youth. China and the US, they are 10 years older to us. And therefore, you will control the destiny of this country. Our growth engine will fire on all cylinders only with your participation. But friends, my young friends, when we have a rise of this kind, like extraordinary economic upsurge, phenomenal infrastructure growth, deep digitization, a global recognition and accolades coming from all institutions, there are bound to be challenges. And the challenges are manifold. But one thing which I am very fundamental is that we must have courage to confront problems. We must not rationalize failures. We must always remember we belong to a nation that has to define global narrative. We have to be architects of a world that lives in peace and harmony. We must have first courage to confront uncomfortable truths within our own institutions. I take you as part of judiciary. Judiciary in our country commands immense trust, immense respect of the people. People believe in judiciary like no other institution. If their faith is eroded, shaken in the institution, we will be faced with a grim situation. A nation of 1.4 billion will suffer. Recent developments are troublesome. They are worrisome. I'll come to them a little later. But my fundamental principle always has been, as a law student, as a lawyer, as a senior advocate, as parliamentarian, as a union minister, as governor of a state, as vice president of the country currently, that constitutional essence and spirit is optimally nurtured and sustained, and it blossoms with each of the pillars of constitutional working if they act in tandem, togetherness and in harmony. But if the legislature, the executive and judiciary are not on the same page, if they are not in sync with each other, if there is no harmony amongst them, then the situation gets a little worrisome. And that is why, as law students, you will be focusing on doctrine of separation of powers. The issue is not which is supreme. Each institution of the Constitution is supreme in its own area. Let us make no mistake about it. But if one institute, the judiciary, the executive, legislature, makes an incursion in the domain of the other, it has potential to upset the apple cart. It can create unmanageable problems that can be potentially very dangerous for our democracy. For example, let me give you in a layman's language. Adjudication has to take place with judiciary. Judgments are to be scripted by judiciary, not by legislature, not by executive. And similarly, executive function is performed by whom? By the executive. And why? Because you elect the executive, the political executive, through elections. They are accountable to you. They have to perform. They have to face elections. But if executive function is done by, let's say, legislature or judiciary, that will be antithetical to the essence and spirit of doctrine of separation of powers. I am aghast that a functionary of the executive, like the CBI director, is appointed with the participation of Chief Justice of India. Why? And just think, and still your minds. CBI director is not the senior most person in the hierarchy. He has above him several layers. CVC, Cabinet Secretary, all secretaries. After he is heading a department. You must use your pen. Is it happening elsewhere in the world? Can it happen under our constitutional scheme? Why should an appointment of the executive be made by anyone else other than the executive? I strongly say so. Another quite disturbing scenario is that we had turbulent times in judiciary recently. But good thing is, soothing, a big change has taken place. We are seeing good times now for judiciary. the present Chief Justice and his predecessor, immediate predecessor, gave us new area of accountability, transparency. They are getting things back on the rails. But earlier 2 years were very disturbing, were very challenging. The normal system was not normal. Thoughtlessly several steps were taken. It will take a while to undo them. Because it is very fundamental that institutions function with optimal performance. If Rajya Sabha engages in disruption and disturbance and does not function, well, that's a cause of worry. It will be alarmingly worrisome. But I am quite hopeful that things will look up. There has been a lot of issue about preamble to the Constitution. But first let me tell you, preamble of Indian Constitution is something like parenthood to children. Howsoever you may try, you can't change your parenthood. Am I right? That's not possible. That is preamble. Secondly, historically, no country's preamble has ever been changed. Thirdly, preamble of our Constitution was changed during a time when hundreds and thousands of people were behind the bars. The darkest period of our democracy, the emergency era. Then it was changed where the life of the Lok Sabha was also increased beyond 5 years. It was changed at a time when people had no access to the justice system. Fundamental rights were totally suspended. You need to examine it. We may do anything, we surely can't change our parents, and we have to ever respect them. My young friends, if you have heard of Ides of March, those of you who have read Julius Caesar, where the soothsayer cautions Caesar, beware of Ides of March. And when the Caesar was going from the palace to the courtroom, he spotted the soothsayer and he said, Ides of March has come. And Caesar said, and the soothsayer said, yes, but not gone. And before the day was over, Caesar was assassinated. Ides of March is associated with misfortune and doom. Our judiciary had Ides of March on the night intervening 14th and 15th March. A terrible time. There was cash overhaul at the residence of a judge in large quantum. I say so because it is now in public domain, officially put up by the Supreme Court, that the residence, official residence of a judge of the Supreme Court, so judge of the High Court, cash in large amount was found. Now the point is, if that cash was found, system should have moved immediately. And the first process would have been to deal with it as a criminal act. Find out those who are culpable. Bring them to justice. But so far there has been no FIR. The government at the central level is handicapped because an FIR cannot be registered in view of a judgment of the Supreme Court rendered in early 90s. You must read that judgment. I am all for independence of judiciary. I am a strong voter of protecting judges. Judges deal with very difficult situations. they decide cases against the executive. They deal in certain areas with legislature matters. We must protect our judges from frivolous litigation. So I am not against the mechanism evolved. But when something like this happens, some things are worrisome. The incident took place, boys and girls, on night intervening 14th and 15th March. We did not come to know about it. It was only on 21st March this year, after about 7 days, we came to know about this ghastly crime. Now question arises, did anyone know about it earlier? Yes, it was a fire incident. The fighting mechanism was there. Those involved with the system knew about it. Why it was not shared? I am a concerned man. Whether this is an incident in isolation or there are other similar incidents, that is something which we have to deal with. I therefore strongly feel, and I have said it on multiple occasions, proceeding with the constitutional mechanism of dealing with the church in terms of constitutional provision is one way out. But that is not a solution, because we claim to be a democracy, which we are. The world looks us as a mature democracy, where there has to be rule of law, equality before law, which means every crime must be investigated. If the money is so huge in volume, we have to find out, is it tainted money? What is the source of this money? How was it stepped in the residence, official residence of a judge? It belonged to whom? Several penal provisions are violated in the process. I do hope an FIR will be registered. We must go to the root of the matter, because for the democracy it matters that our judiciary, in whom the faith is unshakable, its very foundations have been shaken. The citadel is tottering because of this incident, and we must therefore examine the issue from that perspective, which I am sure you will surely be engaged into examining this aspect. There are several other issues which you need to examine, and one is always think ahead of your times. There is a constitutional provision, if you can understand, that certain constitutional authorities are not permitted to hold assignment after their office. Like a public service commission member cannot take any assignment under the government. CSE can't take that assignment. Chief election commissioner and election commissioners can't take that assignment, because they must be free, not to be subjected to allurements and temptations. This was not for judges. Why? Because judges were expected to be totally away from it. And now we have post-retirement posts for judges. Am I right? And not all can be accommodated, only some can be accommodated. So when you can't accommodate all, you accommodate some. There is pick and choose. When there is pick and choose, there is patronage. It is seriously impairing our judiciary. want you boys and girls, I have given you certain leads to get into a small group on a weekly basis and discuss these issues. I should never be misunderstood as in any way saying something else which does not strengthen judiciary. I have given the best part of my life in judiciary. I take bar as a part of judiciary. I have enjoyed every moment of it. And lastly, before I conclude, boys and girls, your opportunity basket is enlarging by the day. Look around. As law graduates, you have opportunities to engage in policy making, policy formations, how to get involved with blue economy, space economy, cyber security. All those issues are there. So in a country like ours, which is developing at a very fast pace, your future is assured. The ecosystem in the country is one full of hope and possibility, a situation which none of us had when we were students. Okay? So my offer is accepted?
Yes, sir.
So the contract is complete. Am I right?
Yes.
Contract is complete. I will seek the Honorable Members of Parliament, Rajya Sabha and the administration of Nuals with the indulgent support of the two Honorable Ministers to fructify it at the earliest. Thank you so much for your time and patience.
Respected Honorable Vice-President, sir, your words have deeply resonated with all of us. We are truly grateful for your wisdom, encouragement and support. Thank you everyone. As we bring this remarkable session to a close, we now request everyone to kindly rise for the national anthem.
Jana Gana Mana Adhinayak Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkal Vanga Vindhya Himachal Yamuna Ganga Uchchal Jaladhi Taranga Tava Shubha Name Jage Tava Shubha Ashish Mange Gahe Tava Jaya Gatha Jana Gana